Ready. Good morning around the Diamond family. Welcome back. The season is over. We are officially in free agent land and postseason and everything that's after baseball. It's crazy that this year is over, but we are happy to be with you to wrap this season up. As always, Baseball Bill, how are you doing on this beautiful Saturday morning?
Ready to wrap it up and get on to some fun topics in the off season. But unfortunately, Sammy's not going to be with us for the next 3 weeks because he just said, you know what, the season's done. Drop the mic. I don't care about Top Fan Rivalry followers anymore.
That is the furthest thing from the truth. Top Fan Rivalry fans, I am getting married next weekend, and immediately after that, I am leaving the country for my honeymoon. We will be posting my wedding registry in the posting for this, so feel free to go and share the love on my wedding day. Just kidding, Top fans. You don't have to get out there and do that, but feel free if
He
you'd like.
still hasn't found the girl yet, but we're working on that. He figures he's got 6 days to get that settled.
Bill, what did you think before we get into the topics?
Yeah,
Just give me your wrap for the season. What did you think of this baseball season?
it was a good season. Good season. A lot of numbers. A lot of positive things. Rule changes affected things for the positive and for the negative. A lot of good stuff. Baseball was good this year. Baseball was a lot of fun. And the World Series, for those of you that didn't watch the World Series because you're not what we'll call a baseball purist, your team wasn't in it, so you were out, you missed one heck of a World Series. One
Yeah.
heck of a World Series.
I would have wished the World Series was I wish it would have gone 7 games. I think these two teams would have made a 7 game series exciting. Like really exciting. We're obviously going to talk about it. It's the prime topic of conversation today. Overall, I agree with you. This was a great baseball year. I think the amount of offensive production we saw really ignited a lot of new baseball fans to get involved. I think a lot of purists kind of, like you and me, we're purists. We make that a pretty abundantly clear. It took a little getting used to, but as the season progressed, I got a little bit more flexible with what was happening. But yeah, just great baseball, great history being made this year. Our first 40-70 guy. Gonna have we had two teams in the World Series that one we had never seen, the other one hadn't been there in years. It was great to see a lot of changes this year in baseball. So hopefully, as the years progress, we continue to see new things in baseball. Not the same old thing year after year where the Houston Astros just happen to make it there and then can't close the deal out. But we'll talk about that as the year goes on. Anyway, let's get into what happened in this World Series. So we had the Arizona Diamondbacks going up against the Texas Rangers. Bill, before we actually get into game by game, what was your anticipation for this? Was there anything that you were hoping you were going to see that you hadn't seen in the past? Was there anything that was like, this is going to be like amazing? Or were you kind of like,
As far as the World Series is concerned, or as far as the season is concerned?
As far as the World Series is concerned, before the first game even played, what were your thoughts going into it about these two teams playing each other?
I expected almost exactly what we saw. Texas was more of the powerhouse team. Arizona was more the underdog team. But Arizona could run like the wind. So I anticipated if Arizona could get on players and just start running, they would win it. And Texas couldn't couldn't combat that, I should say. But what we saw in the World Series was almost identical to what I thought may happen. But some of these numbers you have up on the screen are amazing. Look at the 2021 records. Look at their chances to win the World Series when the season began.
Yeah. I mean, FanGraphs really like dissected these teams, looked at who they had, who was coming up, what their rosters looked like, how they compared from 2021 to now. And it was amazing. When I saw these stats, I couldn't believe it. I honestly couldn't believe that beginning. And honestly, I would have said less than a 0.5% chance for the Diamondbacks and probably about a 2% chance for the Rangers at the start of the season.
Yeah. I'll tell you
Never would
what,
have thought it.
if you're a Rangers fan and you put $100 out there, I don't know what the odds were, but you made a little bit of cash.
Oh, yeah.
You
I
made a
think if
little
you're a
bit of
Diamondbacks fan, you put them even just making it to the World Series, you probably made a little bit of cash. I mean,
well,
let's be honest.
in 77 days, we're going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada for Fan Fest. And
Oh boy.
honestly, I can see Sam throwing $1,000 down on somebody like Cleveland, just a random team that has like nothing. And watch, they make the World Series and win it. And then Sam's like, I'm going to go collect my 2.1 million in Vegas. I'm good.
I don't want to have to fly all the way back there, though.
For 2.1 million, I'm sure you'll be okay.
I mean, yeah, but I could just make the bet on my phone. I could get the same odds.
There you go.
And
There
then I
you
could
go.
do it from the comfort of my couch because in Jersey you can do online gambling, from your phone. It's great.
There you
We're
go.
not promoting gambling. If you have an addiction, please make sure you get help. But
Yeah,
if I
exactly.
wanted to make the bet, I could do it from the comfort of my living room.
There you
Anyway,
go.
I agree with you. I would have liked to see him maybe go an extra game. I would have even loved to see it go all 7. Honestly, I think these two teams having that underdog go against veteran experience in a 7-game series would have been spectacular. I think it really would have been an amazing thing to watch, seeing this really young Diamondbacks team making it 7. But now they got a taste. Like they tasted it. And we'll talk about that at the end.
Yep.
But yeah. So looking at games 1 and 2 in Texas, this is where I really thought we were going to see it go a long term because, D-backs lost game 1, 5-6. We talked about this last week. But then came back in game 2 and just lit the Rangers up. After watching game 2, these guys putting up 9 runs to the Rangers 1. Did you think that they were going to go back home with having home field advantage and at least take a game or 2?
No, I actually was. I wanted the Rangers to win it at home, so I was hoping to go 6. But no, remember the Rangers were 8-0 on the road in the postseason. And I figured that they would bounce back in game 3, which they did. And then to hear that Scherzer was out for the rest of the series, which whatever, no big deal. But to hear that Garcia was going to be out the rest of the series after he pulled muscle, whatever he did, that I thought, okay, now we're definitely going to go back to Arlington. Because I figured at that point the Diamondbacks would sneak out a game, but I didn't expect, and we'll talk about it on the next slide, but I didn't expect what happened to happen with those 2 guys out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Scherzer being out, it's kind of like whenever he makes it into the postseason, we're expecting it. Whenever he makes it into the postseason, it's kind of just like us looking at the clock saying, okay, how much longer until Scherzer can't play in the series anymore? How much longer is he going to ride the coattails of the rest of his team and take credit for something that he had minimal input into? This year, he had input, which was a great thing.
Exactly right.
But you and I both know in years past, the amount of input he's typically put in has been next to nothing. It gets to the postseason.
Exactly right.
I agree with you. I thought going back to Arizona after Scherzer being out and Garcia it was Garcia, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought after both of those guys being out, I honestly thought the D-backs were going to take at least 1, maybe 2, but at least 1 at home. Riding that high of being like, okay, we just came off of a 9-game, off an 8-run win. 2 of their top guys are out now. We can kind of pick this up. let's ride this momentum. And lo and behold, that was not the case. So
Yeah.
we look at game 3, and the Rangers just came out and said, nope, we're going to keep riding this train. We're going to keep doing what we've done in every away game we've played this year in the postseason.
Yep.
And we're
Yep.
just going to win. We're not going
Yeah.
to stop.
And so game 3, that was the case. Game 4 is a lot of that. That 11-7 score is very deceiving because it was 10-1 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Diamondbacks kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit, and the Rangers the Rangers let their foot off the gas a little bit, and the Diamondbacks just kind of inched forward a little bit, but
Yep.
never really had a shot to win that game.
Yeah.
Game 5 is the one that we should focus in on.
Oh yeah. I mean, you look at game 4, the Rangers put up 10 runs by the end of the 3rd inning. And then, the Diamondbacks came back. They put up 4 in the 8th. They put up 2 in the 9th. But when you are down by 10, you lose all that fan momentum. You lose all that excitement, that energy in the fan base. You have to work. You have to work to earn that back in the game. Because you and I both know if you get the fan base taken out of the game early, earning them back to get that energy level up, it's like a dentist trying to pull out your tooth without any Novocaine.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there could have been better analogies, but I thought that was a fair one.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, we got to look at game 5 because game 5 is kind of where this game really didn't get blown open at all. This game was close almost the entire way through. I mean, it was a 50-50 win probability by in the 5th inning. And even in the 7th inning, Texas's win probability was only about 65-70%. So there was still the good possibility of Arizona coming back. What was it that you think just let Arizona fall?
So Arizona was 0-9 with runners in scoring position, 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. When your pitcher is pitching a no-hitter going into the 6th inning, you have to score.
Yeah.
Arizona had 2nd and 3rd with nobody out, and they didn't score. Arizona had more. They had a 1st and 3rd, I think, with 1 out, and they didn't score. You have to when your pitcher is pitching a no-hitter, you can't rest on your laurels, especially in an elimination game. And Arizona kind of, when Zach Gallen went out, and he pitched, he threw 9 pitches in the 1st inning or something like that, 10 pitches in the 1st inning. And by the 3rd inning, he was only up to like 29 pitches. That's when Arizona sees, hey, this is something special, something's happening. But instead of them getting fired up, they kind of just sat back and waited for it to happen. And the Rangers are too good of a team, right? And they made it. And I'll tell you right now, you watch the Arizona manager's face when they score that first run on that pass ball. He has this look on his eyes like, oh crap, the season's over. Like you didn't see that fire or look in any of the dugout. And so the first run that the Texas Rangers scored, they had runners on 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. Now, don't get me started about how they got there because they didn't play the game right, but whatever.
Right.
The catcher is on one knee catching with a runner on 3rd base. I hate this. Ball skips. He tries to kind of backhand it from one knee. It shoots over to basically the on-deck circle of the Rangers, and there you go. First run scores. If he is in a normal catching position, maybe he makes that block, or maybe the ball just goes in front of him and that run does not score.
Right.
Because once that happened, it opened the floodgates, and I believe they scored 3 or 4 runs in that inning.
Yeah. I mean,
that was the end of the season right there.
You got to block with your chest at that point. You can't be going one hand on the knee with a hopeful backhand because, talk to any catcher. They'll tell you in that situation, your glove is your worst enemy. your
Yeah.
glove, that ball hits your glove the wrong way. That ball doesn't hit the pocket and the net of the glove in like the perfect form. That ball's bouncing anywhere. It could be bouncing back into the field of play for all you know.
Yep. Exactly
But
right.
and if anything, you hope it bounces back into the field of play, so at least you have additional defense to try to
Shot.
get the ball out at first, get it caught. You
Yep.
know,
At
he
least a
he had
shot.
a bad bounce. That thing bounces over to the warm up circle. You're not you're 20 feet away. There's no coming back from that. You
Yep. 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 Yep.
gotta hope someone else's. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah, I mean it's tough, but what are you gonna do?
it happened.
However, it happened, and
Mhm.
because that happened, we have
Bada bing. Show it.
new World Series champions. The Texas Rangers' first World Series in franchise history. How crazy is that? It was like 60 something years. I think it was 65 or 68 years.
Yeah, they came into existence, I think, in 1961.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like insane.
mhm.
And it's funny because I'm seeing stuff all over the place of like, oh well, this guy what was it? I think Arnaldus Chapman, but he went to the Cubs 108 years since they won their first World Series, brought them a World Series. Now he went to Texas 64 years, he brought them a World Series. People are gonna start thinking, oh, Arnaldus Chapman's the answer. But then you can go for Will Smith, who the last 3 years has played for a World Series team. Like
Yep.
this core group of guys, the veteran presence, the veteran, experience in in the postseason, in the World Series, not only from a player perspective, from a managerial perspective, they just put all the pieces together.
Yep. They did. They did. They did. Um and you have to look at numbers in the playoffs and World Series. Did you know that Corey Seager passed Reggie Jackson for home runs in postseason era?
I had not, but did you know that along with Reggie Jackson, Corey Seager is only
Yep.
the second person in World Series history to win the MVP with two different teams.
Two different teams is correct. I was going to say, don't say two different leagues because Reggie never played in the National League. But
No, but Corey Seager is in a league of his own in that regard.
who did he win it with the first time? What team?
He won it with a team that won it after playing only 60 games, but it was that year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. So the Dodgers,
Might
obviously.
drop
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Obviously the Dodgers. What Sam doesn't realize is when you play a 60 season league or 60 season or 60 game season,
Game
you
season.
can't go on a losing streak. You go on a losing streak of 7 games when it's 162, you can bounce back. When it's only 60, you can't bounce back. That's why the Giants aren't very good because the Giants look at it. Anyways, we'll talk about how good the Giants really are and aren't in Las Vegas. Don't
All right.
worry, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll see.
It'll
We'll
be a
just see
very
what
short
happens next
conversation
year.
about how good the Giants
We'll
really
just
are.
see what happens next year. It'll be fine. We'll
That's Sam all the time.
the year
Another
is
thing, just
over.
wait till next year.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if the Dodgers do what they did this year and last year again next year. Win the National League West and then lose in the first round of the playoffs. It's fine.
So I am very impressed with Bruce Bochy, obviously. That is pretty awesome that he got that done. The way that he got that done, that's
Mm-hmm.
super cool. I like that about Bruce. Corey Seager winning the MVP, that was a no-brainer. I like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Bruce is, what was it? Hold on a second. I got it right here. Where is it? Ah, here we go. Bruce Bochy is now tied for fourth all time in World Series titles as a manager. In
Mhm.
front of him and tied, and as well, who he is tied with include Joe McCarthy with 7 World Series, Casey Stengel, Connie Mack with 5, and then he is tied with Walter Alston and
Alston, say
Joe.
it right.
Was it?
Walter Alston of the Dodgers, say it
Oh,
right.
Alston. I'm sorry. And Joe Torre. Like, look at the company he is with.
Yeah.
I mean, would you say that Bruce is one of the greatest managers in baseball history?
Um,
After doing this, retire, going, bringing not only bringing the Padres to the World Series when he was the manager there, bringing the Giants to 3 World Series and winning 3 World Series, um, and then bringing the Rangers to the World Series and winning it with them. Being tied fourth on the list, being one of the most winning managers in baseball. Would, after doing this, he solidify himself as one of the top 10 managers in all of baseball history?
sure. Sure. There's a lot of great managers out there. If you're looking at World Series champions, probably. Yeah, probably. Um, he comes out of retirement and he does that. Part of what being a manager is about when you win, you gain respect of your players. You've got a lot of guys that have been there. Corey Seager's been there. Wallace Chapman's been there. Um, right? Will Smith has been there. These guys have been to the big dance before,
Right.
but he's able to get enough respect out of these fellas to make sure that things happen and that they go
Mm-hmm.
right. And so you got to give him love for that.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
I
the first 3 World Series that he got though don't really count because of who he managed, but whatever.
okay. Um I'm not even going to comment on that. I'm just going to keep that to myself because in he brought the Giants to more World Series wins than Dave Roberts has in the tenure that Dave Roberts has been with the Dodgers. Okay. Anyway, moving forward. We're just taking shots at each other today. That's why this is called Top Fan Rivalry around the diamond. You got a Dodger fan and a Giant fan together in a room. What's going to happen? No one knows. But Corey Seager, congratulations on winning the MVP. Texas Rangers, congratulations on an amazing year, an amazing World Series, an amazing playoff run, an amazing World Series run. 11-0 in your all in away games this postseason. 2% chance of even being in the big show at the beginning of the season. So kudos to you guys. You deserve every accolade. I'm glad you guys were able to enjoy that parade yesterday. But now you got to do it again next year because you've got all the expectation on your shoulders now.
Well,
And as we look and move into next year, Bill, the off season officially started what, Thursday?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And with the off season starting Thursday, that technically means teams have 5 days after the World Series concludes before free agency begins. It's one of the differences between baseball and all other sports. Typically, other sports have about a month or a month and a half time block between when free agency begins and the end of their seasons. But baseball, they don't wait. They're 5 days. That's about as much as you're waiting. So as we come to, I think we're in day 3. So by Monday, free agency will officially open up. We got to look at who some of these big free agents are out there.
Yeah.
This is a list of exceptional players.
Yep.
So, and we're highlighting some of them with pictures, obviously, around the border because they deserve to have their pictures recognized. But looking on this list, who are some of the guys you think are going to be taken like right away?
Well, obviously the Shohei sweepstakes is going to go probably into January.
Mhm.
If Blake Snell is smart, he locks and loads it early. And if I were Blake, I'd go for a smaller contract. I know we listen, guys. I know we only have 7 minutes left, so I'll be quick. Um, but Blake Snell needs to lock and load it quick. Cody Bellinger needs to lock and load it quick, short-term deal. Jordan Montgomery and JD Martinez did themselves huge favors this year. Jordan
Mhm.
had a great postseason. Don't take that away from him. Um, and besides for that, the rest of this list, you look at this and you think there's a lot of good names on here, but some of them will go quick and easy and quiet, like Lucas Giolito. Whit Merrifield probably will go quietly. Hunter Renfroe, Harrison Bainer, probably Michael Conforto. All those guys will get decent sized deals, but they'll go quietly. Those will get
Yeah.
wrapped up before Christmas. The other ones, look at Cody and Blake and Shohei going after Christmas.
Yeah, I think I think I agree with you. I think Shohei's going to run into January. There's no question about that. Shohei's going to be very methodical. He's going to be very, I think him and his agent probably have a couple of bullet points laid out that teams have to hit, where if they can't hit all of them, they have to hit like a certain amount before he even considers them. Um, I think Blake, you're right. I think he's going to end up locking something in. Probably a 2, maybe a 3-year deal, but I would probably take that third year as being a club option.
Mhm.
Um, I think Bellinger, while I know you say it could go into possibly into January, I actually think the Bellinger sweepstake is going to heat up a little bit quicker than we think. I look at it as what teams are out there that need some of these certain positions and who are the top guys at those positions in free agency. There've already been talks about the Yankees because they don't want to have to worry about taking on the Tatis contract that's already a guarantee. They'd rather take Soto and give him his own contract, not take on an existing one. So, I think Soto's going to be a hot trade commodity this offseason. I truly believe that. And I think with what happened with the Padres last year, they're going to be looking to get younger rather than and use Soto as trade bait than sign Soto to a long term and then kind of miss out on some youth.
Right.
Um, but there's not. I mean, look at this list. There's more pitchers on this list than there are outfielders.
Yep.
So you gotta go and you gotta start looking at what teams need outfielders. There's not as many teams that need outfielders as you think.
Nope.
But
They're not.
every team needs pitchers. So I think the pitching market's gonna be what's more drawn out. I think these more position players are gonna get picked up pretty quick on good good contracts. Not more team friendly, but I think more solid, good contracts for the player. But we will see. We
Probably
will
true.
see. There's still a lot of things that have to happen in the next 2 to 3 days. So we'll just keep an eye out on it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
unless Bill decides he wants to take off the next 3 weeks and get some R&R to recoup from this season, he'll be talking about it while I'm on vacation.
Yeah, while you're
So
on vacation, I might sneak one in there. I'm not quite sure yet. We've got a couple of people out that a couple people that are interested in coming in as guests, but we'll see how that all plays itself out.
yeah, I mean, Bill and I have already started working on some brainstorming for December and forward. So on what's going to be playing out. But Bill, as we move on to off of free agency and move into the official postseason, you have put together a fantastic podcast schedule for this first week of the postseason. Take me through it, my friend.
So Laz is a Mariners fan. Uh, I did know he was. I'm sorry, not a Mariners fan. Marlins fan. I did not know that he lives in Texas, and I thought he was an Astros fan. So he and I are going to be talking. Nick, uh, Chase's ballparks. And so I'm interested to talk to him about that. The Fandemic crew are going to talk a little Phillies baseball and get some things together there. Thursday, Sherry's going to talk about the Twins. She has a job that actually lets her be around the organization a little bit. That'll be a lot of fun. And then finally, on Friday, we're going to have a group of Mets fans on. So the podcast schedule doesn't change in the off season. We'll still have anywhere from 4 to 5 podcasts every week.
And Bill does a great job in the postseason of getting every team involved.
Yeah.
In this postseason. And I can't wait to hear what these teams are thinking about their teams going into the post, what they're thinking their teams are going to do in the post, and what they're looking forward to in preseason. It's going to be electric. It's going to be fantastic. And you don't want to miss it. But along with the podcast, Bill always puts together a good schedule for in the leagues on Instagram Live every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Who you got in the leagues this week?
So Tuesday, I've got a good friend of mine that I've known for years. I won't tell you how many years, but it's well past 30 years. And he's a Dodger fan, but we're going to talk a little kind of mixed bag stuff. It's not going to be Dodgers talk. It's going to be mixed bag. Wednesdays, we're going to have a Would You Rather Wednesdays. So every Wednesday, I'm going to have at least one guest on, and we're going to talk about different players. Would you rather have this player on your team or that player? Why would you rather have this player or that player? We're going to have so much fun with it. It's going to be so exciting. And then on Friday, this Friday, Megan is also hosting again. I will be jumping on an airplane right after that to head to Houston. We go to Houston this weekend for the CAP Summit. We're going to spend the weekend in Houston next weekend. So there will be no Around the Diamond next weekend because I'll be in Houston taking meetings at the time that I would be normally filming this. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So Megan will be on Friday.
That is awesome. I can't wait to see the schedule. Maybe if time permits, I might jump on Thursday. Who knows? We'll keep it a mystery for right now. Not going to get anyone's hopes up.
Sam,
got a little bit
fan
final
thinks
prep for the wedding on Thursday. So if time permits and my fiance allows me to get away, I might be able to jump on to in the leagues on Thursday. So
and see, notice how a Giants fan just says that he's jumping on. Like this is like Congress with the State of the Union. You have to be invited, brother. No, I'm teasing. You're always welcome, Sammy.
Well, I appreciate the love. I appreciate the love. But as Bill mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, we are just a couple of weeks, a little bit more than a couple, a grouping of weeks away from Vegas. Top Fan Rivalry Fan Fest in Vegas, January 19th through the 21st. You need to get your tickets if you have not yet, because tickets are limited.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, Sam, let me tell you, we're going to be making some announcements Monday and Tuesday on the actual location. If you're coming to this Fan Fest, book yourself over by Mandalay Bay, Luxor, Excalibur, in that area. Okay. Here's the real reality, though. You need to understand this is a real reality. Okay. We have limited spacing. We are about 20% already full. By the end of this weekend, we'll be close to 30% full. Do not wait to book. Now, easiest way to do this, if you're a locker room member, log into your locker room, buy your ticket. You can get 2 tickets for $75 a piece. If you're not a locker room member, this is the way it's going to save you money. If there's 2 of you coming, it's $150 a piece. Go by the locker room. It's $58. You get the locker room, then go buy your tickets, and it'll cost you $150 for 2. You'll end up saving yourself close to $100. Plus, you'll get all this cool content. So I would strongly encourage you to get the locker room first.
And to get the locker room, there's a code that they can use.
Absolutely.
To get a discount, right?
What's the discount code?
ATD?
ATD, Around the Diamond.
That's
capital
right.
A, capital T, capital D. Bada bing, you're done.
And it's case sensitive, folks. So don't you forget, if you don't put that in all caps, you're not getting nothing. But if you use the code ATD, it will get you 10% off your Around the Diamond I'm sorry, your Top Fan Rivalry yearly membership, which is the one you should be doing. And then you can get that discount on
Yeah,
those FanFest tickets. So what could be better? You get a discount on the Top Fan membership, you get a discount on the tickets. It's a win-win all around. And then you get to be there in
win
Vegas
win.
with us. Winner,
Yes.
winner, chicken dinner.
We got one guy coming in from Houston that's offering free hugs to everybody that's coming.
Oh,
We're
well, I'll
gonna
definitely
we're,
jump up
we're
on
gonna
that free
put
hug.
Sam in a dunk tank. He's
Let's
gonna
not get ahead
bring
of ourselves now. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. You
oh
think this face will work in a dunk tank? Come on now. Come on.
all right,
As
top
always,
fans.
though, make sure you are staying up to date on TopFanRivalry.com for new articles, new podcasts, new merch, and staying up to date on what this watch party schedule for next year is going to look like. Bill, any idea on when you're going to start posting some of these next year watch parties?
Yeah, we're gonna start posting them right after Thanksgiving.
Oh, so you
Right after
definitely
Thanksgiving.
don't want to miss out. If
Now we've already got all the schedule worked out. We've got the planning phase. We already know where we're gonna be, when we're gonna do what. And that'll post in right after Thanksgiving.
Well, if you want, after Bill posts a schedule, if you want to see if Bill can make a trip to your city in the incredibly condensed schedule that Bill has, make sure you submit a request on the website so Bill can get it and he can see if he can work it into the schedule. We might ask for your assistance, but we'll see if that becomes necessary. Other than that, Bill, anything else for the top fans out there?
No, I'm good. Let's go out and have a fantastic week. Happy wedding to you, Sam. We won't
Thank
see
you,
you next
sir.
week. The next time we see you, you'll be an old married guy.
I will be officially locked down.
Locked
No one is
down.
taking me away anymore. Diamond fans, thank you so much for joining us this week on Around the Diamond. We will see you maybe sometime in the next 3 weeks, but I can guarantee you, you will see us the first weekend in December. December 2nd, I will be back. Bill, I believe, will be back, and we will be getting this show going full force into the postseason. As always, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on the field. Have a good day.